What's up, everybody? My name is Napkin Exter, and welcome back to Scratch again. And this time we will be doing entities in Raycasting. If you haven't watched the last two videos, I highly recommend you watch those before continuing on to this part, because we already have an engine over here that renders everything, and physics that prevents us from going just clipping straight through the wall. So let's get to it. So to create an entity, so first we will create a sprite, and we will, maybe let's choose some sprite. Let's see. Actually, maybe I'll just create my own. So let's create a sprite. Also, something that I have that we're going to be doing with this project is that I have received permission from Matthew Ager to extend his story of A Way Out. So I'm going to try and make my own extended version of this. So for that, let's get to it. We can create let's use saturation. Let's try to create a loudspeaker. We could even, actually, you know what, maybe I'll use vector. The no outline. And then we will use this, and we'll stretch it downwards. This, and there we go. And let's move it back some layers. This, and then we could even use, we can make this kind of stand for the loudspeaker. This, and then the next thing we'll do is make this sort of circle. Here we go, and then we will sort of make this little whole thing. And we could just remove the outline. Let's make this smaller. Here we go. And now we have a little loudspeaker. And so now we have this. So in this one, in the scripts for this, we will create, let's say, X and Y, and these will be for the local sprite only. And while it's running, we'll do forever. So first we set the X and the Y. We'll do 2.5 and 2.5, like this. And the next thing we'll need to do is find the calculation. So let's see, this sprite only. So here we go, and then X will be, let's see, I'm trying to remember what the formula for that was. Alright. Or we might actually not need to. We need player X, player Y. We could actually just have these here. X minus player X and Y minus player Y. So these are the two formulas. And two things for calculating the actual plays. And then we'll use, I think we'll use arctangent. Or we might actually not need it, but okay, so we need to add sine and cosine like this. And then okay. Trying to remember what the equation was. It's a little difficult for me to remember. Or how about we create a sprite called variable called angle. There we go. And then angle, we'll set that to divided by x minus player x over y minus player y. Cat is here. I think this was the equation. Yeah, it should be the equation. And then we'll add or rather, I think subtract camera. X position to the tangent of angle. We got something now. So now we'll okay, so now that we have this little motion that you just saw, we'll then multiply by 240. Okay, so here is the actual position of the thing. Except I think we need to add the camera. So yeah, I was actually wrong. So we'll add camera. Oh yeah, I may have actually been right to do this. Minus the camera. So we'll need to invert this. Actually, we need to do the other way. So now it looks like we're actually a bit broken. Let's try flip-flopping these. Okay, now we got it. Okay, so now we got the formula for that. And I mean, obviously we're going to see behind us now, but we'll get right into fixing that. So the next thing we'll need to do, let's just have this little thing here. The next thing we'll need to do is set the size. And we'll need to set the size based on how close it is. We already have the angle right here. So we'll need to use this variable, angle. So we need to set the size to angle. I'm trying to remember what the thing was. Oh yes, the rotation. We'll pretty much need to rotate those points using these two equations. Times 100, or are there 100 divided by, because we'll need to use that. And then we'll be using times and times. And then we'll have to use cosine, sine and cosine. So this one will be using cosine, and this one will be using sine. Oh dear, that's actually a little broken. Let's try minus. I think it might actually be minus. Well, I don't think that'll be. Oh wait, what did I just do actually? Oh wait, right, the y should remain 0. Let's try this. Nope. I think this is a little inconsistent. Let's try these. Let's see the camera angle. Just to give me a perspective of where I am. Okay, so it's the X, so we'll need to rotate around the X. See. Yep, so we'll need to rotate around the X-axis. So we'll need to switch these. It's actually a bit inconsistent. See, 100 over. You know what, maybe I'll just do the old method, which is using the Pythagorean theorem. This square root and of this here, and then this here. And then we'll need to multiply by the sine of the angle. Rather by the cosine of the angle. Oh, yeah, it's a little wonky. So yeah, now at least we got like a little sprite. So let's continue changing. Now, let's see. So now let's use the if-else block. So if it is less than that, else. This will all be dependent on this thing. If it's less than 0. And if not, it'll be using the negative. Sorry, wrong way. This and then this. Now we have. Okay, now we have this. And now we'll need to use a different if-else statement. And this will judge whether the cosine of the angle is less than 0. It'll hide, otherwise it'll show. This, I mean, now it's a little wonky, so let's try again. Oh, now it's not showing. Guess it's the other way around. This. Alright, here we go. So now we have a working billboard. So to calibrate the sprite, what I often do is leave this to right next to the wall, like this. And then we stop. Then we try strategies, like this. And then this. So now our thing is a little floating. So for that, we fix the size, like this. And then let's try 32. Okay, 32 is the perfect size for this speaker thing. So now we have a little speaker. The next thing we'll need to do is change this background a bit so that the black part of the top isn't showing. Because I realized that last time that it was a bit easy to judge distance. So now let's do this, and then we will extend this part like this. So now it's a little more difficult to judge how close something is. And we could even do the same for the sprite. So for that, we use this effect, which is set brightness. And for in our case, we will be using -100. And this will be times 100 times the distance. Rather, we should be using 0. Here we go. So now it sort of disappears in the background. And we could even reduce it to 50. There you go. I think that's a little bit better. So now we have a little loudspeaker. And the next thing we'll need to do is we'll need to override it if the X or Y is out of bounds. Okay, let's also make sure this goes at the end, and then if the absolute value, and then we'll use absolute values for this one just for efficiency. So if the absolute value of the X position is greater than 240, which means that if it's greater than 240 or less than -240, then it'll hide, and this pretty much overrides everything that was over here. So now we don't have a giant thing in our face whenever we move around. So it looks like now we have a little speaker. And we could even edit this part. Let's see. I'll just edit the map just to make it look a little more like the game we are going to create. Alright, we have... Alright, so now we have this little area. Now we have a little wall, some little walls here. And we could even change the starting position of the player to 4. And the sprite can also be set to 3.5. Or other, we could just set it to 3, 3.5, and 3.5. Let's test that. And now that's a bit better. I can sort of have to see this loudspeaker. So looks like now what we have sprites. I'm gonna leave this. I'm going to hide this and make it look cool. Oh, and then hide the camera. And then I'll need to... Oh wait, sorry. One more thing. That'll override this. Is that we have... Let's see. So we'll need an array of distances. Let's make a list and call it distances. Like this. So whenever we call So whenever we call the main block for rendering, we'll delete all of the distances. And then we'll add the main distance to the list. And now in distances, as you can see, we have a grand list of distances. The closer we get, the smaller they are. And then here we'll use them to judge whether to hide it or not. And then for that we'll use the operator. I don't know why I removed the original operator. And since we have a fixed thing, we don't need to worry too much about. Okay, so do x position divided by 4 plus 60. So 60 over 4 is 240 over 4 is 60. And here we'll use absolute value for a part, absolute value. Let's see, where is the size? Here's distance. Absolute value like this. So if the distance is less than this thing, then it should pop up. Or is it? Aha, here it is. And then we'll do another test in the map. We'll be testing to see whether it hides or not. And then we can change it to 3.5. Okay, let's just find speaker. Here it is. As you can see, okay, so now it hides successfully. Anyway, guys, so now let's see. Anyway, guys, so now we have this little sprite. We should even modify the Y value like this. Okay, where did it go? Or what happened to my last figure? Sorry, I blew it. Alright, let's try this again. Here it is, our smart speaker. Now if you put it on the edge of the thing, as you can see, it'll hide, just like that. And yep, look, everything looks good. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this. We are getting even closer to making a physics game. Once again, big thanks to Matthew Ager for allowing me to extend the story. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.